Hi everyone, we're back up here messing with the 53 again this evening. I'm going to show you a little bit of stuff that I'm messing with that I didn't video, and some of the stuff that I'm trying to figure out. I don't know, there'll be some stuff of me doing here, but it's hard to show you some of the stuff that we're doing because it's in such tight spots. But I'll show you what I can, and I'm going to talk about what I've done. So I'm going to turn around and show you. All right, still got a mess. You can see a lot of wires over there, that plugs and stuff that's all just smushed around right now at the moment. That's gonna get fixed. My light would, my phone ain't want to light up, but I've hooked them two hoses back to the coolant tank, and they are run this piece of 1-inch hose, and then I just put a male-to-male barb 1 inch, so then it'd hook back, because that's where the tank hooked factory, so I added that link. Then that hose, I took the hose off and just put a new one that goes from there, and it follows this one around, and it hooks back to the radiator right here like it did factory. Boost tube is on. Still got to tighten that clamp, but it's all clears and runs up. So it's like that. This piece is still just sitting here at the moment. Trans cooler. I just took a plasma cutter, blowed the notch out, and factory, that trans cooler just had 2 push pins in it in the bottom, and then these 2 bolts up here. Well, I just put self tappers into the square tube I got down there, and it's pretty solid. Get you down here on the floor and show you. All right, I've run the 2 lines. This line originally come and it swooped and would have hooked in, but being everything's tucked back, that wouldn't work, so we cut it. Just put another piece of hose and clamped it. And those 5/8 hose fits right over the old metal lines. Then this line would have wrapped around and went up and hooked into the radiator, and then out of the radiator back to the transmission. So I took the part coming from the transmission before it went to the radiator, cut it off, which you can see right there. Put a clamp and a hose and run it around. I still got to put some tie wraps and stuff on everything, but that hooked the transmission cooler up, so that way that took care of that. All right, this is the headlight wiring, tail light wiring that's coming out. There was a factory hole here. Put loom on it, run it out, put a grommet. Not exactly sure that's where I want to leave it, but for the time being, that's where it's at. Computer, I took and bent some plate around and drilled 2 holes so it bolts. It's just loose on here right now. And I was just messing with the plasma cutter and blew GPC in there. But it bends around the computer, and then trying to get where you can see the little bolts right there is the factory body of the computer. And my tab, I took them bolts out of the computer and made my tab wrap around so it would bolt back in on both of them. I'll switch around so you can see it a little better. It's just hanging here right now. It gets pushed in and bolted, but that way it's hanging there. When it's all tightened up and I got all these are the wires for the DPF5 switch. But when I get all that stuff finished and tightened, then I'm going to plate from this inner fender, and I'm going to build a shelf cover here so the tire don't throw shit on it. I had to cut right here from the last time. This is factory inner fender, and I'd cut the front off and put it in. Well, I had to notch the bottom of it so it'd clear the brake lines. And then I notched it back further here because where the computer's at, because I was gonna put this computer right on the other side of that, but it wouldn't work, wasn't fitting right. This boost tube is all on. Power steering lines are all hooked up. They're run around. I still have to extend this power steering line, the return, but the metal ones are all tight and run. Brake booster's tight. Hydro boost is all tight. I don't like this because I showed you on the other video where we done the corner. I'm gonna try and do a brace and get it where it's more solid and not so crooked. The upper hose is hooked up. I cut probably 2 inches off of it and it hooked right up in. What else? I'm in here. Seat tabs are tacked on both sides. The seat's got to be pulled out so they can be welded. Heated the brake pedal, bent it away from the column, and then bent it back and straightened it. Cut the gas pedal and welded it back so it made all the pedals look better. Put the fuse box there. It's just got one bolt in it right now because I'm trying to see if that's where I want it or not. I was trying to see on how we was gonna do the wires for that. Have cut the headache rack off because we're gonna build a new headache rack to the back. But that's just a little bit of what I figured out at the moment. Still gotta get the AC compressor, get all the belt stuff back on the front, do a lot of wiring on the truck. But most of the systems is all done. The coolant's all plumb now, so it's ready for water. After I fix that return line, then all the power steering stuff will be good. Transmission cooler's good. Fuel system's good. So we're getting almost having everything in here that we need and just trying to make it look right because a lot of that'll get cleaned up. But I'm gonna figure out what I'm gonna do next and then we'll be back. All right, back up here tonight. I've been doing a little bit. I don't know how good you can hear me because the rain on the roof, but it's actually slacked up a little bit so it ain't as loud in here. So I figured I'd show you a little bit of what I done before it started pouring down rain again. I got the front cover bolted on. I've got pretty much everything over there. All the hoses tied around and good so they ain't rubbing. I got all the front accessories on. Still got to get a belt. We still got to address the wires over here. But the fuse box, I fixed it. It's all solid, flat looking. I'm happier with it now. Still got to replace this hose because it's too short. But, you know, the computer went there. And I just had this side facing up. And I didn't show y'all, but I was trying to explain it. These are the bolts that just hold this computer together. And all I had was just this top piece to start with. Well, then it would flex around and you'd be able to see the computer through the fender like I showed you. So I made another piece. I just took 3 pieces of this, punched 2 holes in it or drilled 2 holes in it, and then clamped it to the table, bent it around, measured it, bent it around. So then it stopped there. Then there's one more full sheet to it, and then there's the 3rd sheet, and I just welded them together. That way it's all one thing. So now when it's bolted in there, that'll be what's seen inside the fender well now. And, you know, I'll paint it black and all, but at least now the computer's protected from a rock or something. I wasn't too worried about the water because, you know, it's got the seals on it. But at least now a rock, you can't throw rocks and stuff and hit it where it's at. So I got to get that back in. I just finished doing this. That's what I've been working on, and then I welded them 3 pieces together. Let's see here. But you know, it hangs right here, so you'll see that wall instead of seeing the computer, so then they'll be protected. And then we got the factory inner fender. I know you can't see good because it's kind of dark over here, but the factory inner fender, which y'all seen. So it'll kind of protect all that. What else have I done since y'all seen last? Moved the truck back. Been figuring out the steps. So they're pretty much figured out how we're doing that now. It's just tacked on this side. You got to do the brace on that side. And then when I take it off, I'll show you what we're doing because it's going to be so dark under there, instead of trying to show you under. I done showed you where we cut the headache rack off. I think that's all the update I got right this minute. I was going to video me doing that, but the rain's starting to pick up again now. But it was just so loud in here where we ain't got no insulation on that tin. You couldn't have heard nothing in the video anyway. So, but I'm gonna get this back in, and then we'll be back. All right. I'm not gonna bore you a whole lot with the wiring. I've done wired this headlight up. We still got to get a ring for the outside. Got that side out. Done run the wires across. I'm running them across right now. I got them all loomed, so they'll be protected. In here, I'll show you on that one. I'll make sure when I got it off. But I broke the light bulb piece out of it, and where the wires come through the back, I drilled a hole, and I put I got a whole bag of, if I can get one out of the damn bag, these little lights, these little LEDs. It's just a little LED. And I just clipped that into the hole where the wires come out back there, so it'll be that little LED light in the back. And I'll wind up doing that in here too, put a new cover and put the LED in here. I've got these wires right here, or the headlight wires that go across. I got to loom this stuff up, and I'm gonna put little hanger pieces so it's all loomed. You see it's loomed back here, but all of this will have straps, so it's hung up here at the top. These ain't in loom because these right here are for the halos in the light, the turn signal halo, and then color halo. And then the other wires here, I didn't have much black, so that's a ground. That's why it's got black lines all over it. For a ground wire I got, and then my turn signal and my running light, and they're still here because I got to wire them in so you can see where I clicked it through. That LED clicked in there, but I have to wire them in there still and up top. Got the wires coming out here. The factory hole that was there was a grommet. I broke it out, put a new grommet, got it loomed, and then just got it running down that way. These wires right here, I'll have to put, because I'm using some of this stuff, so I'm mainly using this harness for the headlights, taillights kind of stuff. So I have to hook like the powers, so that way it powers up the fuse box and everything. Watch out, Q-tip. In here, I changed the fuse box. It's mounted up, and I flipped the wires around where they come out the top before I mounted it. So that way I got them coming around in here, and you know, they'll get moved around up top. And I bought another factory key switch, so it's just got on, off, and accessory. Hang on a crank. And you know, factory had a rod here in the floor you push. So I actually bought it's for I think it was an International tractor, the starter button. and I'm gonna make it fit in over there. I'm gonna have to notch the hole a little bit, but then that'll go in there so you can get it started. And being this diesel and you're not trying to pump on it because it's not carbureted or nothing, it should be perfectly fine because you can just hit that switch, it should fire right up. That's about all the wiring I've got to show right now. These are for the tail lights, but I'm not finishing that back until we're done back here. But now I'm going to show you what we've done here. The bed went to like here, and I'll show you the piece in the floor over there. So we cut across. What we've done, we put this tubing. It's still just sitting there. It's sitting there. We just put a tack on both sides while we're doing temporary stuff, but it'll get picked up where it's even here, and then the bed will be welded all the way back across. And we put a rectangle tubing like we did because that's going to be my Y. I'm going to build my Y pipe for my stack side of it. I'm going to get over to the other side so I can show you a little bit better of what we're doing. All right. See, it's going to be closer in the center now and all too, so the gap will look better. And being it's all just tacked in right now because be a stack over there and a stack over here. So underneath right here, I have to have a pipe come in. So I've got everything on here so I can mark everything. And we're gonna come up from the bottom and mark it. I'm gonna take this tube back off. We're gonna cut the tube out, a square, and put a divider in it, and then weld the pipe in the inlet side of the stack, so it'll be facing down. It'll come up in it, but it's gonna be a divider in here, so when the smoke hits it, it sends it both ways. And then I got the stack marked out, and we're gonna take and put a kind of an angle so that way when the smoke's coming through, it hits and goes up. And then this over here, the bed, it's a dually truck. It's got a dually rear end and everything in it, but I've just got single wheels on it right now, and it's getting the dualies back. And you almost had a whole tire out here because when I put this bed on here, the bed was too narrow. So I got the tubing wider because that's about how much wider we're gonna make the bed, and then it'll have the stake pockets on the outside of that, so it'll be roughly out here. We'll wind up cornering this and all, but the divider will be there, so won't none of this ever get hot over here. But that is really close to what it's gonna look like. That's just a scrap piece because I had this broke out, so I took a piece of flat plate and broke it, and then stuck the two pieces together and tacked it, and then we cut it on the top and put the slope on it. But and they're gonna look pretty good, I think. And then, you know, there'll be a headache rack built between the two stacks. The end will be capped off and stuff, so you won't even be able to tell that tube's there. And then the way that we set it in the front, so when you look down the side, you see, we had it slid over so you couldn't see none of the side of the stack. It was just in the middle. And then we had it slid out here where you could see the full stack. But being we're gonna do a headache rack, so it's gonna have the bar that goes from stack to stack. It'll have lights and stuff in it. With the stack being all the way out here, you would see right in here that bar, and I just didn't think it'd look that good. So by doing it this way, you can still see a little bit of the stack beside the cab, and then you got the stack sticking up over it, and it'll have the matching one on the other side. But I think they'll look pretty good. Oh, and I'll show you this too. There's been a lot of little stuff getting done, and our weather's been terrible. It's sunny outside right now, but it was just pouring down rain. These are welded on there, and this, I buy a bunch of junk from places. We'll buy cars, and they'll have buildings with stuff in it, and I buy a bunch of old containers and stuff. This was an old saw box, had a skill saw in it, and it's gonna go just like that. I have to bolt it down. So that's gonna be, let's see, the lid opens But being we lost all the stuff under the hood, room wise, that's just gonna be on there temporary for the battery. So that's gonna be my battery box. And eventually we'll come back and make the bed wider, and we're gonna skirt it and put a toolbox and stuff, and then the battery will be in the toolbox on it. This step's on. I'll crawl under there so you can see it. All right, that's the factory piece of the step. You can see where we cut it a little short, then had to weld the section back in. What we did is this right here, that's on against the frame. We didn't have a piece of angle here, so that's a thick piece of plate, and then we cut 2 notches and bent it and welded it so it's made like an angle, so it sits on top of the frame and it's on the side, and then the step is welded back to it. And then you can see that little triangle with the corner cut off of it, gusset there, is welded from that over just to give it more stability, but it's plenty stout. Step on it, you don't feel no movement or anything like that. So that's how we mounted the steps. And we was gonna do that plate that's against the side. We was gonna drill 4 holes in it and put the stuff on there where it bolted, but the magnet drill wouldn't fit in the hole there, and regular drill, so it's just welded like it is. And in worst case, we can take, there's 2 bolts in the step, and you could pull the step off and that would just be stuck out. So if I ever had to come off, you can just take them off like they would on the factory truck, because this was riveted on the 53 anyway, so it's just welded on here now, but you got the 2 bolts, so you can still pull the step off if it ever got bent or you had to take it off or anything. All right, little update. That's the, what I was telling you about. We'd cut the stuff out and had this tube sitting in there. It's back out. We're gonna have to, we'll box all that back up, because we're actually gonna have to build that up just a little bit to make the pipes at the same height. But old man's been messing with it back here. This is the bottom. I'll get underneath it and show you in a second on the end, but this, so this is where the exhaust to go in. So when it's going in, we put a divider, and you know, that's a piece of flat plate coming straight up. So then it hits down, so when the smoke comes in, then it hit these ramps and shove it to the sides. He's done capped the ends. He's getting ready to cut these pieces, and he's gonna cap the sides off on each side, and then we'll take and make this out of cardboard and cut that piece, so it'll be a piece here. So it'll be 4 more pieces. It'll be 1 on each side, and then 1 C, and then another C, and it'll all be welded. So then that's what you'll see, and the 5-inch pipe will slide into this, so that way it goes even, or it's helping it divide it the best you can without having a Y. That's arm Y that we're building. So it all the smoke still pretty close, even though that side's longer than this side. Normally they still smoke pretty close to even. Down here you can see this is the top, and you're upside down right now, but we cut the hex, and then the plate is welded to the bottom, and it comes up, so it ramps it up, so when the smoke's coming across through here, it hits it and it shifts it and blows it through the stack. And then you can see this line is the edge of the bed right now, and when we're gonna make the bed wider, this is about the distance of the stake pockets off the bed. So that's on both sides to make the bed a little bit wider on the front. And then we started cutting there, because this will be the front corner, so we're cornering the bed, so then that way it looks nicer when you look at it right here. Instead of just being a flat piece, it'll have the corner cut. But that's where he's at right now. He's done got that divider piece done on both sides, and he's getting this. When he gets all this done, then we'll fix the rail there where we cut the other stuff off, because it had another piece of channel across there, and trying to get to it to cut it out. with the cab mounted and everything. We should have cut it out before, but we didn't think about it. We'll get that fixed and blocked up. Then this will be flipped over and stuck in there. Well, before it's flipped over and stuck in there, you can see right there, there's a weld. There's a plate underneath that ties that tube together to the gas tank tube here. And there's one on this side right under this, but it'll be cut there and there, so it'll be a notch took out of it. So that way the pipe, I have room to come up. And then once that'll be cut out, then this will get stuck in there and welded where it's got to go. Then we'll go underneath. If this sags any, we'll go underneath and jack up on it first. If it don't sag, that's fine. We'll still go underneath, and we're going to tie from this with a piece of angle or plate or tubing, however we do it, whatever fits the best or looks the best, to this. So then that way it puts stability back in the brace that goes to the gas tank, being it ain't gonna be able to go across no more. And this side is close enough to this brace. When it's tied, when all this is tied and then that's welded to this tube, this side will be solid. And where that's like that, we'll just tie it, being this kind of in the middle. So that'll be how the stacks are going. I haven't cut the other one yet, but that one's laying in the floor cut, which I just showed it to you up in there a while ago. And then me, I've made some progress, but wiring's hard to show anything. The button's mounted in the floor for the starter, so you can push the button and start it. And you can't see it over there, but I mounted the dimmer switch on the floor, and I put one piece of kill mat where the dimmer switch, so when I bolted the dimmer switch, I didn't have to cut the kill mat around it or take it back off. It's already underneath it, so I won't have to, it's on there permanent. Most all my stuff is, let me see if I can zoom in here. That's the light switch. It's already wired up. It's gonna get loomed. The ignition there, you see it. That's the ignition right there. And them two plugs beside it's for a newer style ignition where it plugged up. And I'm gonna have to figure out where them wires go still. I got the battery hooked to the ignition and then the key switch one, so it fires the stuff under the hood whenever we do it. I gotta finish doing that. I've got all the, right there is the plug for the column. I've done got it all wired up so it plugs in and out and everything. So it had to be tied up. This hoop right here, all the ends of it has been heat shrinked, so then that way there ain't no bare ends, and the same thing on the outside of the truck. That's for all the gauges. To start with, the truck is just gonna have them gauges sitting in it just for the look for now, and it's just gonna have the OBD2 port. I'll have a edge monitor that'll plug into the OBD2 and suction cup to the window, and that'll tell me my speed, fuel, everything off of the Duramax side of things. And then later when I get gauges, that hoop of wires is already there and they're marked for what they go to, so I'll be able to wire the gauges. And then the new sensor side on the motor, they're all marked out there for it too. But I've got, you can't see that great, but right there is where the ignition button comes through the floor for the starter. And that wire's run over here. I still got to hook it to the starter. I don't know if I showed y'all or not the headlights on both sides. They look pretty good. I've still got, when I take the tire off, they're all loomed and tied around now. And I've got a lot of this up here halfway straightened out. I still got to straighten out some there and then tie wrap some of that stuff around to make it look a little neater. But it's coming along. It's just wiring is kind of slow. But what I was going to say, is this solenoid, or this relay in here, is the starter solenoid for the Duramax. So I could pull the cap off of it so you can see the solenoid, and I could click it if the battery was hooked up and it would turn the truck over. That system is all still intact, but the way I done the push button, I run it separate, so it's its own system, which is how it'll be cranked. But this one is still gonna be hooked up. That way, in case something happens with the push button, I can always open the hood up and click it here instead of having to go through the fender with a screwdriver to jump it out. Trying to think, I've got them wires run up. That's the main hot for the new harness that's on the inside, so it powers up instead of going to the battery. I don't know, but I guess I'm gonna keep wiring on it, and when I get some more updates about the stacks, I'll show you some of that stuff. And when I get all that mess straightened out where we can actually try and crank the truck, we'll be back. All right, he's got it all boxed in, so you can see now the exhaust pipe's gonna hook here, so when it hits, it'll make it go to driver's side and passenger side, and you know this is gonna be going downwards, but that's what we done there. And he got see, because it's still upside down right now, so it'll flip and this will go to the front. He got it cut and capped. He's still got to finish welding it, but that's the hole for the stack. But when it's flipped up the way it's supposed to be, he'll be able to finish it up, and then I'll show you some more on that. But that's the end capped, and the little divider box, being we didn't have a Y pipe, this is our Y, and I think it'll work pretty good, because the 5-inch pipe, it slides in this, it goes inwards, so you'll slide it until it hits the divider, and then that straight divider wall goes down, then it splits over. So that ought to get that took care of. All right, there's the running light in the grill lit up with the little LED in it. I'm getting ready to do, because we got power on the truck now. Got that one on. I'm gonna take this one apart and show you what I did on the inside to do away with the bulb and put the little LED piece in it. All right, I got the lens off, so now you can see the bulb that's in here. We're going from using them bulbs to, we're going to put the little LED marker piece in there. And you can see where the wire runs through the back, right there. This piece, I just grab it and twist it back and forth, and it'll wind up breaking the little rivet in there holding it. To get it out, I mean, it ruins the headlight piece, or the light piece that's there, but you know, we don't need it no more anyways. So just like that. So then now it's off. And you can see the other one, that little rivet piece broke, so this whole piece here was gone. So I'll probably try and grab it and get some more of it out. But that hole right there where the grommet goes, right there, I just take the hole saw and drill it out until the little rubber grommet will fit in there. But I'm going to see if I can't, yeah, you see the piece in there that moved when I done that. It's hard to do some of this stuff with one hand, but I don't know, I got it bending up some, but I'm gonna finish getting it out and then we'll be right back and we'll drill it out. Alright, you see me stick the screwdriver under the edge of it, and I just bent it up some so then I could grab it with the pliers. Then I rocked it back and forth and popped it off. So now it's out. Now I'm gonna get the drill and we'll go ahead and drill that hole out. Alright, and drill it out. Just like that. So now it's drilled out. And we'll pop the little rubber grommet in it. Like I said, some of this stuff's hard to do with one hand, but they can do. Alright, so now it's in there. I didn't strip both the ends of the wire because where they're at, you can get to them to solder them and all, but it's just aggravating getting a stripper up there. Just like that. Now it's got the little LED in there. And that whole bag, I think I bought 50 of them lights, little LEDs for like $20 or something, so they're super cheap. The lens, I just cleaned it up. This one ain't been cleaned yet, but that side, I just cleaned it real well. Just wiped it off real good. Then this, you see how rusty it looks. And see this side's rusty, but you see more of the chrome. This is what it looked like before, and I just took Scotch-Brite and Scotch-Brited it and wiped it off just to bring a little bit of the chrome back and make it where it won't cut your fingers when you mess with it. But I think I'm gonna find a piece of Scotch-Brite and we're gonna get this took care of, get the lens wiped up, so then we can put that all back together. I'll have to still, it moves. It ain't gonna fall out or nothing, but I need to get, I'm gonna have to order the 2 new gaskets for it, because you pull the old gaskets out, they're just super brittle. So I have to order 2 new gaskets. I'll find my Scotch-Brite so we can get this cleaned up and get it on. Alright, I started Scotch-Briting. It's just a old pad, and you can see some of the chrome coming back, but you also found green paint, like it was like that. And I mean, some of this right here wasn't, but up here on the front, you seen it just a second ago, where somebody had painted the truck before up here and didn't take nothing up. But we're not shooting for perfect. I'm just trying to make it where it ain't catching your finger when you mess with it. And it's giving it just a little bit of chrome. Look, I'll probably wind up buying these new and putting up here in the truck, but I'm gonna finish Scotch-Briting this and we'll be back. All right, there it is. It actually brought a lot more green out, and I could have spent some more time on it and got it to look a little better, but it's good enough for what we're doing. Just making it a little, you can see from here, you can see the more of the chrome in it, and that's all I was shooting for. I dumped a little bit of water on it just to wash the dust off. When I done the other side, I dipped the Scotch-Brite in water. When I was doing it, I had a bucket of water and kept dipping it in. This didn't take long at all. When I done the inside of the truck, let me see, I'll walk over here and show you, because I'm making a video on just this, but I ain't put it out yet because our weather and everything. You see how rusty the door looks, the color wise. I haven't done nothing to this door. We'll walk over to the other side and I'll show you it, and it's been done. Well, it's not done, it's just, you see how much more gray it brings out. It looked worse than that side did. I know it's hard to see because it's dark, but done the whole dash and stuff, but I gotta finish doing that one. But our weather's not been good here. It's been raining nonstop. because I'm gonna shoot clear on all of this to make it shiny and easy to clean. We'll eventually do the whole outside of the truck, but for now we're just doing the inside. But I gotta wait for it to have decent weather before we can do that. But we'll go back up there and get this put on, get the light wiped out. And that was just a little update of some of the wiring. I've done most everything in here's done. New light switch. It has, this was the throttle at one time so you could idle it up. And I put a little switch on the back, a pull switch on the back, and just put the knob back on it, so then that way it looks like it. The key, it's just on off there. And move some of this stuff. You got a push button in the floor here, but the battery's all but dead right now. You can hear the fan. But the battery's only got like 8 volts in it or something like that, so it ain't enough to turn it over. But I guess your next update will have it where we're gonna try and crank the truck. But I was just showing you on the light, but we'll be back. All right, a little bit of an update. Got the kill mat on the whole floor, got it on the back panel, and we got it on the roof too. So that's on all that. All the wiring's good in here now. Key switch, lights. Took the throttle knob and put a pull switch in there and glued that on there. So that's how you cut the electric fans on. I've started running the wire. That's the hot wire that's hooked up front. It's going to our battery box here. So I got to cut it off and put an end on it, and then a ground to the frame. So then we should be ready to try and crank it and put some antifreeze and stuff in it. We got both the stacks, trying to get stacks on there. It's kind of hard to see in here because I can't go back no further because there's a bunch of stuff in here right now. But just a little update. When I get this hooked up, then we'll try and crank it up. And then when we can back it out of the shop, then I'll be able to show you a better view of the stacks. Which, let me walk around front, and I'll shut the hood, and I'll let you see it from the front. All right, there it is from the front. They look pretty good up there. We still got a lot of stuff to do between them, building a headache rack, but that's just how it's gonna be for now. Under here's pretty much done for now. I'll have to build a lid. I'm gonna build a lid to go over the top of the fuses so you can't see them. But everything else is pretty much done. Belts on it, everything. When I get the battery hooked up, we'll fill it up with antifreeze and everything before we crank it, and then let it bleed the air out, top it off so all the fluids are good on it. Still got to mount the front bumper and the side step. This one's a little bent up, but once it's attached to the truck, then we'll beat it in with a hammer and twist it up to make it look better. But it's almost mounted. And then all these wires run down the frame to the tail lights. I just didn't want to run them in there while we was doing all the cutting and welding and everything we was doing in here. So I didn't have to worry about them. I've put power on the truck before I extended the wires. And I just put these on here for little temporary things to make sure my brake lights would work and my running lights and turn signals before I run them under the truck, being as I can stand here and see it. But all that's been tested. The fan's been, I've clicked everything in the truck, made sure. I haven't cranked the truck from the inside yet, but I've done all the stuff, you know, headlights on and off, turn signals, all that stuff. But I'm gonna get a couple more things done, and then hopefully we'll be back and we can crank it up and back it out. All right, well, I forgot to record, but we just started it. Everything went like it's supposed to, knock on wood so far. We backed it out, Still got to clean the bed off. I'm going to clean the floor, and we're going to run these wires for the tail lights underneath. A little bit more and be ready to drive it. All right. It's still got to get the bumper mounted on the front of it and stuff, but it's done this first test drive, I guess you'd say. I drove it home last night, done good. Come back to the shop this morning, then drove it to Lowe's and picked up some insulation. Now we're back over here at the shop. But everything I still got to do, I got to figure out something with the shifter. I want to do something cool, some kind of big wrench or something in the middle, but for now the cable's just over here. I got to put a new screw back in that, but cable's just there so you can pull it for now. But I want to build something that'll be a little bit later, but we'll get it built and then we'll put carpet and everything in it. But the truck done really good, going to town, coming back. Stacks look good. I don't know if I ever showed y'all. I know we talked about this on before, but it's got the battery in it. I put some foam so that way the battery would stay. All that. The stacks are hooked up. Got all the steps on it. But we got to put the front bumper on it. And then hopefully get some more miles on it. Today is Saturday. I'm leaving Monday, going out of town, and we're going to drive this. So was trying to do a little bit of miles on it before we took off in it. You know, that one, when we done it, we put it together and then took straight off to the beach pulling the camper. We've done put more miles on this one than we did on that one. But just giving y'all a little bit of an update on it. I'm not sure. I'm going to try and get that bumper on it and then in the video. But it just kind of depends on how things go today. But hopefully you'll see it in just a second and we'll be putting the bumper on it. I forgot to say, we got a mirror now, where it was just a piece of metal where the mirror was busted out. My brother cut me out a piece of mirror and put it in there. So now we got mirrors on both sides. So just wanted to throw that in there too, that we got it done. None of the gauges work. For some reason, the edge, I was going to have an edge screen in here. The edge is being funky. I don't know. It was working in here. And then I tried to put my fuel where it showed me how much fuel was in it. Then it's like the edge locked up and it won't do nothing on this truck anymore. I can plug it back into the 67. Works great. So I just plugged the scan tool into here and watched the temperature and stuff, and everything so far has been really good. It's run like 150-ish, 160. It's pretty hot today, and we've drove it all over, and it stays in the 150, 160 range. So electric fans are doing really good on the front of it. It was worrying me just a little bit because the grill's a little bit smaller on this truck. I know the 67 electric fans work great on it, but I was a little bit worried about them on this one because the grill's a little bit smaller, but they work really good on here too. But I just wanted to throw that in there too. But I guess we're going to get the bumper and stuff put on it. All right, messing with the bumper some. This is the frame rail off the 53. You know, this is the 01 frame, but it's been cut because of the way we did. But we got it because there's a plate that goes right here. But cut the frame rail off, and it's tacked to the tube that goes across. And then took the side braces and cut them, and they're on the side, so they'll be able to be welded to the frame there and up. We're gonna plate probably gonna wind up putting a piece of plate or something and tying that, so then that way, you know, it's gonna have strength because of this is right against that tube, and it's gonna be welded and then welded here, but probably box that in or something. And then this way, this side's the same way, just touching the tube back there, and then all that'll get welded up in there. But that's what we've done so far on it. Bumper makes it look way better. And then, like I said, this plate, it's got this plate that goes over the top right there, fits in it. But that's what we've got figured out on that. I was just showing you a little bit of what we'd come up with, because sitting there thinking about how to attach the bumper, but that's what we've come up with. All right, I don't know how much, I don't remember exactly how much I've showed. Got the bumper on the truck, and we've done drove it. We've actually done went out of town, pulled a camper and went camping and stuff, and we're back now. And I realized that I didn't do a closing or nothing on the video, and I really didn't show with the front bumper and stuff on it. We put new tires on it. They're a little skinny in the back, but like I said, it's supposed to be a dually truck, but I just put these back on there for now, so that way a little bit cheaper on me, and I want to save up some money and put a nice set of dually wheels back on it. So just got these for now. Sounds pretty good out of the stacks and all. But thank y'all for watching, and that's going to be the end of this video, and we'll see you on the next one.